Hello to all the community members of AGNI's Startups and SMEs. This is Anand Nair. Well, as promised last evening, I have created this informative podcast very specially for all of you. I sincerely hope, with all my love and encouragement, that the short contents of this podcast helps each one of you to become amazing entrepreneurs in whatever you are doing. As entrepreneurs, it is very important for all of you to never consider the whole world as a battlefield to launch your dream product. Instead, consider this world as a playground to emancipate the end user with the benefits of your dream. It is only then that you'll be able to walk away from the herd and become an amazing entrepreneur. This is my sincerest advice with all my love and respect to each one of you. Position your inner thinking to create products that can change the way the world exists and not the way you would like your bank balance to exist. Your bank balance will fall in place automatically. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and change the world first. Having said this, what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? First of all, create a business plan that can attract adequate funds if that is a priority for you. As a business consultant, I have interacted with several startups, helping them create a business of their own. And I have realized that every new startup entrepreneur who comes to me comes with a single reason to associate himself with me, and that is to arrange for funding. But when I go through their business plans through the eyes of a funding organization, I just don't get to see enough meat in the plan. You can't possibly convince a funding organization based on an Excel sheet that factors in a target number of the products you have decided to sell without a concrete and structured modus operandi of sales. In other words, almost every business plan lacks a hardcore field strategic sales plan to achieve projected numbers. I sincerely urge each one of you to concentrate on creating a business plan or presentation, not based on your perspectives, but that of the funding organization. Once you do this, getting a project funded won't be a challenge at all. The next most important sphere that creates a hurdle for entrepreneurs is the lack of a good sales team. Get yourself a great crack team for sales. Sales is a very different ballgame altogether, and salesmen are a breed of their own. There are very few entrepreneurs I have come across who could possibly pass off as good salespeople. So don't fool yourself. Your entrepreneurial debut will crash faster than a house of cards if you imagine that you are good enough to spend all your time taking your product to the market by yourself. Deeply introspect within yourself and clearly define what you're really good at. Leave the rest to hired hands. You will never regret making this delegated decision. Believe me. Next, build up a strong resilience within you. And I would like to repeat this once again for your benefit. Build up a strong resilience within you. It has multiple benefits. Remember that the road you have chosen has been tread upon by many a hopeful entrepreneur, and many have fallen off the track simply because they gave up much too soon. When you build up a strong power of resilience within you, you become invincible. And invincible people take risks with wild abandonment, ready to face any consequence, good or bad. In time, you will get experienced enough to take calculated risks, and then is when your bottom line will progressively improve. Taking risks will also make you more innovative in thinking as you learn from your failures and market realities. And as time goes by and the calculated risks you take start paying off, your confidence levels in you and your venture will skyrocket, and you will soon move towards becoming an amazingly confident and innovative entrepreneur. My next advice is really very simple. No successful entrepreneur can exist without being trustworthy. You can't fake trust. Either you are trustworthy or you aren't. Being authentically trustworthy requires that you be honest in all your dealings, big and small. You must ensure that every area of your life has trustworthiness. That means keeping promises, maintaining relationships, following through on commitments, keeping your word, doing your taxes, and whatever. We all make genuine mistakes. You can't be perfect. But trust isn't about perfection, nor is it about some legalistic adherence to an arbitrary standard. It's an approach to life that is characterized by the pursuit of trustworthiness. Last but not the least, always remember that you can't create an organization out of brick and mortar. It requires people, well managed and motivated by a well respected leader. People make an organization, not bricks and mortar. It requires amazing leadership qualities to create a team that can literally die for you. No one needs a boss, so to speak. Everyone needs someone who can show them a path towards their own pursuit for excellence. And only you can do it. Many entrepreneurs who I've met over the years as a consultant fall humongously short on this skill and hence end up with high attrition rates and very, very low business growth. My sincere advice here to each one of you is to ensure that you first deeply introspect on what your organization's hierarchy should be before you choose the right people to fill in the positions. Hiring and then firing just because you overstaffed yourself is not an option a good entrepreneurial leader ever resorts to. You can well imagine the adverse effect this could have on the morale of the people who don't get a pink slip from you. And finally, get yourself a good business consultant from the very beginning itself. Most startup entrepreneurs desperately start approaching business consultants only when they find their backs against the wall. The advantage of having a business consultant from day one is that they look at your venture from a bird's eye point of view and are well experienced to prevent you from bundling into pitfalls. After all, you're not the first or only organization they have or are consulting. Business consultants don't share the same emotions that you would share with your venture. And that's very, very important, because if they did, it would be a recipe for disaster. Business consultants are there to give you the right advice at the right time so that your bottom lines don't suffer and hence grow exponentially. Go ahead and invest in a business consultant. This is the best investment you could ever make in your initial years of growth. I sincerely, with due respect to all of you, hope I have been able to encourage each one of you to step more firmly in the arena of startups and SMEs and become astonishingly successful in whatever you are doing. Please do let me know if there is any way I could be of further assistance to any of you. I am most passionately willing to walk the mile with you till each one of you have finally achieved great success in your lives. Now go ahead and change the world. Ciao for now. We'll talk to you soon.